What's going on, everyone? I am just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about Canadian news. Because as an American, I never get to see Canadian news here in the United States. So today, I really want to take some time to learn about the current news, events, and opinions in Canada right now. And I want to start with some of the biggest news, certainly as far as Canadian American relations are concerned. I'm, of course, talking about the tariffs. Huge news, and I think most of us know by now that that has been pushed off for 30 more days. The tariffs that the United States were going to place on Canada. I did an entire video talking about my opinion, my analysis, and sort of the American point of view on the US tariffs on Canada. So feel free to check that video out if you never got a chance to. But I just want to take a look at this article here, which is saying Trudeau heads to Europe to shore up alliances in the face of the Trump tariff threats. This is exactly the kind of thing that us Americans, we don't see in our news. We don't see the consequence of this stuff or the Canadian sort of point of view, what Canada is doing. This makes complete sense to me. And this is kind of the natural consequence of the United States threatening tariffs on Canada, right? Now Canada is going to Europe. Canada wants to do business and trade with Europe and decrease the amount of reliance on us, the United States, which stinks for us. I mean, that's really sad for me to hear, honestly, but I certainly can't say I don't understand it. I totally understand. And if I was Canadian, I think I would definitely agree with this and encourage this, honestly. Because let's face facts, maybe the tariffs are going to go into effect in 30 days, maybe they won't, but it's definitely become apparent for Canadians, I think, especially based on a lot of the comments that I read on that video that I did about the tariffs on Canada. Most Canadians want to, decrease the amount of trade and therefore how much Canada relies on the United States for trade and for commerce and its economy. And so, yeah, I really hated seeing this headline personally because it's bad for the United States and it's sad for me to see as an American. But I totally get it. So Canada wants to do more business with Europe and less with the United States because whether or not these tariffs happen, the trust has been broken, right? That's kind of the main thing. So it says Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will try to strengthen Canada's trade and security ties over the next 5 days with European allies, facing threats from U.S. President Donald Trump over Canada's economy and sovereignty. That's right, Trump also wants Canada to kind of cease to exist or at least be part of the United States. Maybe it'd still be called Canada, and I don't even want to get into that hypothetical or whatever because it's kind of nonsensical. Trudeau is heading to Paris and Brussels starting Saturday. So did this already happen? Because today is Tuesday. Just days after Trump agreed to pause tariffs until March 4th. Man, March 4th is going to come so quickly. I mean, we're going to see what's going to happen, aren't we? So this is kind of really important for Canada to get moving on a lot of this stuff. In case the tariffs go into effect, nobody knows what Donald Trump is going to do next. I mean, that should have been his campaign slogan, I think, literally. He keeps throwing out crazy ideas. He threatens the most dire consequences. Everyone is on the edge of their seat, wondering what he's going to do. And yes, and we're all very familiar with this. I think that's one of the main reasons why he was elected in the United States. That's from America's point of view, that's one of his strengths, you could say, or certainly something he uses as leverage. Whether it's ruining and destroying international relationships with the United States, yeah, possibly. That remains to be seen. Seems to be happening, to be honest. But yeah, for the United States, Donald Trump's crazy unpredictability, that's a bargaining chip that he uses to fight for American interests, you could argue. But for everyone else in the world, and I think more Americans need to understand this, get out of our American bubble, and our just the American perspective, and break free and understand what does the rest of the planet looking in on us. What are you guys all thinking? And it's probably like, holy cow, we need to stop relying on the United States, especially when it's being led by Donald Trump, because there's no consistency, there's no sustainability or reliance on what's going to happen. You have no idea. And I think first and foremost that has become so clear and apparent with the tariff thing actually becoming a thing. Let's scroll down a little bit. Anything more about this? The US president warned he could expand tariffs to the EU. Yeah, I've heard about that. The tariffs are not going away anytime soon, from what I can tell. Big focus expected during these talks in Europe on how Canada can protect itself against a trade war. Yeah, and basically just do more business and trade with the EU, which is like 27 members, mostly in Europe, right? Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, this is the logical, reaction to what the United States is doing. Canada is looking elsewhere for trade. Yeah, sad for me to see. Let's keep going here. Let's look at a couple more. I think there's going to be a lot of tariff talk in the news for a while. And that's fine. It's, that's the big news. But let's look at some other stuff as well. The I Am Canadian ad is back in a big way. Its star has mixed feelings. I know this ad. A while ago, I did a video reacting to these I Am Canadian ads. Aren't these for beer? CBC radio host Jeff Douglas welcomes the Canadian love, but guards against blind patriotism. Oh, yeah, this guy. Oh, so this guy is this guy now. It's been a couple years. So what are people asking? Or the ad is coming back? Are they replaying it? Or do they want to redo it? Or yeah, these ads are amazing. I actually saw these. I did a video about them. Before he was a staple of CBC radio, Jeff Douglas was known as Joe from the Molson I Am Canadian television commercials. Wow. Now, 25 years later, amid a looming trade war with the US, a swelling Canadian patriotism, that's nice to see, and threats to Canada's national sovereignty, yep, the beer ad is getting a second life. Really? Huh. So it's been 25 years. That's like an entire generation, at least, of Canadians that maybe never saw this, never knew about this ad campaign. That's cool. So it's like on social media, sharing it on whatever, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever. Kind of showing these ads, the I Am Canadian stuff. That's awesome. Some people are tagging me on socials saying it's time to do these again. Oh, they're tagging this guy who did the original commercials. People are asking him to do more. Isn't that kind of up to Molson Beer to decide if they want to do more of these? Maybe that'd be pretty cool if they did, actually. It was in 2000. He was the flannel-wearing Joe Canada, standing on a stage, refuting Canadian stereotypes, swelling and boasting with patriotic fervor. Canadian patriotic fervor. Marketing, yeah! So are they going to do anything with this? I'm going to scroll to the bottom here. Like, is this coming back? or is it just being shared on social media? I think it's just being shared on social media. That's really cool. Uh, that's that's a random reference that a Canadian reference that I actually get. Let's keep going. Trudeau is unlikely to recall Parliament at opposition's demand. Here's why. Okay, this is something I've heard about, probably in other Canadian news videos that I've done, or I don't know. But my point is, I don't understand what this means. I'm going to be completely honest. Trudeau is unlikely to recall Parliament. What does recalling Parliament mean? And at the opposition's demand, so the opposition party can demand that you recall Parliament. What does recalling Parliament mean? And this has something to do with like triggering an election, or is that different? I don't know. I actually want to plug this into ChatGPT because my entire life has become reliant on AI to explain things to me. So, can you explain? I'm going to paste this in. This news headline: Trudeau unlikely to recall Parliament for an American who doesn't understand. Thank goodness for AI to explain things to me. Okay, so let's see what it says. In Canada, Parliament is the country's legislative body. Okay. Justin Trudeau is the Prime Minister. Opposition refers to the political parties not in power. Recalling Parliament, here we go, means calling lawmakers, the members of Parliament, back to work outside their regular schedule to deal with an urgent issue. Okay, so the headline is saying Trudeau is not likely to bring Parliament back early because just because opposition parties are demanding it. In the U.S., here we go. Wow, this is relating it to the U.S. It's breaking it down so even I can kind of understand. This would be like Congress being on recess and the Republican or Democratic minority demanding the president call everyone back, but then the president refusing because he controls the timing. Okay, what do they want to call Parliament in to discuss? I guess that's the other question I have. Trudeau says he has the powers he needs to deal with Trump without sitting MPs. Also, isn't Trudeau... Didn't he resign? Yet he's still the Prime Minister as far as I can see. When is that going to happen? I don't know. As Prime Minister, Trudeau meets with Canada's premiers, works with Cabinet to craft his government's response to the Trump administration. He also is batting away demands from opposition leaders to recall Parliament. So that would be calling Parliament into session to talk about all of this stuff, basically, and form like a more cohesive government reply. Is that what this is? Leaders argue legislation is necessary to deal with the possibility Trump will impose the tariffs. Interesting. Okay, so this doesn't have anything to do with calling an election or whatever. Or maybe that's not even a thing anymore because Trudeau is resigning. What the opposition in Canada wants, Poilievre? How do you say his name? Poilievre? Poilievre, I think? Anyway, the Canadian opposition party leader has made that Trudeau should recall Parliament to pass a Canada First border plan, crack down on human trafficking and fentanyl. We've talked and heard about this. Oh, this non-confidence thing, yeah. If Parliament is to be recalled and the legislation is passed, the government would need assurances that opposition parties would allow Parliament to function. I have no idea. Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, I'm trying my hardest. The government would need assurances. How does the opposition party not allow Parliament to function? Can they, like, vote against some of these things and not allow Parliament to function? Is that what we're saying? I don't know. Anyway, would the opposition support a truce? So the opposition party and the majority party need to like work together to pass some of this stuff? Is that what it is? Anyway, let's keep going here. Interesting stuff for me. In other news, 1 dead, 11 injured in a multi-vehicle collision in Orillia, Ontario. Oh my God, 50 vehicles involved in the crash. Oh my God, this is horrible. One person died. Geez, where in Ontario is this? I'm very bad with Canadian geography, I'm going to be honest. Man, is the snow this bad? Holy cow, cuz yeah, in the United States, like especially last week, geez, it was like warm enough to almost not have a jacket on. Like it was kind of insane. It's gotten back down to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever that is in Celsius, but seeing this like snowstorm and blizzard for me is like, oh my God, I forgot like how bad Canadians kind of have it, unless you enjoy this stuff. But I just did a video over if Canadians enjoy winter or not. And I think you enjoy it for some reasons, but not for 50-person car pileups. Unfortunately, the crash happened on Friday, shut down sections of Highway 11. Actually, someone sent me a video about this, like this morning. William, thank you, sent me a link to a video about this.
A man was killed and 11 others were injured when a snow squall swept across an Ontario highway Friday, triggering a multi-vehicle pileup.
Wow.
Ontario Provincial Police reported the collisions along Highway 11 just before 9:30 a.m. in Orillia.
Jeez, you know what I'm noticing? Like in Canada, the emergency response, the ambulance and police have to be able to respond to these emergencies in crazy weather scenarios. Like the fact that they're out there in this snowstorm, in this conditions, the fact that they got there and everyone's like in their jackets, freezing their butts off, going to work, trying to save people, that's incredible. Like, hats off to the Canadian response on this. Wow! Look on the left. Look at all the cars.
In the bus, and some of them leaving in the ambulance.
Someone has a dog. Wow, this is insane. Look how many cars are stopped. Wow, this is crazy. And it's extra bad because, I mean, 1 person died. That's kind of the main takeaway. That's sad. 11 injured, and then 50 other cars are just stuck in the freezing cold, doing nothing. Like, this is just horrible all around.
Arrived to find multiple vehicles, including semis, involved in the crash.
Wow.
A 49-year-old man was killed in the crash, and 11 others were taken to local hospitals with varying injuries.
Wow. That's terrible. Man. Okay, let's keep moving on, though. All 5 candidates clear latest Liberal leadership financial hurdle? What? So these are candidates for the Liberal leadership. Oh, okay. So Trudeau is resigning. I guess he's gonna step down at some point, and someone has to take his place. There's 5 candidates. They have to overcome a financial hurdle? Candidates are required to make a $125,000 installment. Really? Like, to who? The government? You gotta pay like $125,000 to run for Liberal leader? Why is that? That's random to me. I mean, okay. They've raised the money required for the bid to compete to become the next Liberal leader. Candidates need to pay $350,000 made in installments. What? Why is this should there be such a big barrier to entry for a public servant to run for office? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Is there like a good reason why they gotta pay so much money to just run to represent the people of Canada? Should that be a barrier to entry? Money? Who gets to represent you? Am I interpreting this wrong? I don't know. I feel like this isn't good. So these are The 5 prospective Liberal Party leaders? I don't know any of these people. I've never seen any of these people before. Are they the front runners? Mark Carney, Chrystia Freeland, Karina Gould, Frank Baylis, and Ruby Dalla? So these are 5 candidates. Wow. So how is Canada going to determine who gets the Liberal leadership position? There's 4 other candidates that say they're still in the race. This is really interesting. So, the Liberal Party will choose its next leader and Canada's next prime minister on March 9th. This is literally Canada's next prime minister. Like, automatically? The Liberal Party just gets to choose. Is that how it works? Wow, it's so different from the American system where the people, sort of choose the president directly. Whereas in Canada, it's the leader of the majority party, right? So the party is just going to pick, basically. Wow. And that's March 9th? March 9th. That's coming up in a month. Okay, I'm so glad I read this article. That's literally something I've been wondering about a lot. A get-to-know shipping container village full after 1 month. Oh, they made houses out of shipping containers. Ooh, that's a good idea. Is this like to help people who need housing? Making houses out of shipping containers. It's not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, but if it's effective and gives people shelter, that's really smart. Shipping containers, because they're kind of an already made, ready to go container. Except now it's a container for humans. Okay. And finally, is that it? This is just the front page of the CBC, which is where I usually look to see some Canadian news. All right, there you have it. I know I didn't touch on there's a lot of Canadian news here. That was just a couple things that I wanted to take a look at. And I really enjoy being more informed and up to date on the Canadian news because you better believe we do not hear about this stuff in the United States. Truly. So I really did enjoy this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts as a Canadian. Your thoughts on any of this Canadian news, any other news I should know about. That'd be awesome to hear. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Canada and learning about Canadian culture, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.